has been sitting in my garage for 15 years. And on this episode of Roadkill, we are rescuing it and mud whomping. Woo! Well, this is going to be kind of a special episode of Roadkill because I have a different guest host. I'm going to do this show with Rick Payway. Now don't worry, Finnegan is back for the rest of the season. Everything is still normal. He's not off the show. But this was an opportunity for me to capture on video something that Rick and I have done together for so many years and never actually gotten to show the story on video. And that is ridiculous road trips in Jeeps. Going way back to our magazine days, we used to go find old flat fenders and crazy stuff and make them run and drive and take them on trips to places nobody should actually go in their right mind and clapped out old vehicles. It was really roadkill before roadkill was roadkill. And even right before roadkill was roadkill, you'll remember that we did a video for Hot Rod Magazine with myself and Finnegan and Payway, and we took an old 66 Buick that had been Rick's mom's car, and it had been abandoned in a backyard in Arizona for like 30 or 40 years or something like that. And we made it run and drive, and Finnegan and I drove the thing home to LA, and that right there was really where roadkill all began, and Payway was there for it. And so we're bringing him back in this episode. And that Buick is in that garage right there. And Rick has not seen that thing ever since we did that show. So we're gonna make that car run and drive, and then we're gonna head out on an epic Jeep adventure. He got that for free. Can you see why?
Hey.
That thing is awful.
Needs different tires and wheels.
Oh, is that the key? Ooh, crop duster. I thought it was the crusher that was in here with this.
It looks perfect.
Yeah. Let's just pump up the tires and roll it out and make it run and drive, and
with
then
the
we'll just
on.
unload this stuff right back into the garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hook up your jumper.
All right. Black to black, red to red.
Usually.
Yeah, usually.
I'm gonna crank and backfire while he's still got the big cup of gas right there.
Yeah, let's try not to. Okay, let's see it explode.
And this thing runs good.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Wow. Whoa, brakes work, transmission works.
It's perfect.
There we go. Wow.
Oh, dude.
That's a lot of stuff.
It's totally buried.
Yep. Oh, look, there's the new crankshaft. Cool. You gave me that too. This is a 1946 Willys CJ2A, a civilian version of the flat fender Jeep. And way back in 2001, Rick and I were working for 4-Wheel and Off-Road magazine, and we bought this thing for 550 bucks. And it had not run at that point in 15 years or something like that. And it was all in a million pieces. So we did a magazine story where we flew into Provo, Utah, where the thing was, and put it all back together enough to make it run and drive to get back home to LA. Problem is, the engine blew up like 3 miles out of town. It started rod knocking so bad that not even we would drive it. We ended up buying a Ford truck for 500 bucks and flat towing the Jeep home. Our plan here is to rescue it from another 15 years of neglect, fix the engine, flat tow it back to Utah to meet up the guy who we actually bought it from 15 years ago, and then road trip it back home to LA in what is apparently going to be an epic winter storm. I would say unbury and then pump up tires and roll it out.
Okay. Where are we going to put the stuff we unburied?
Hopefully in the trash. Engine here is like almost halfway out, radiator, grill, and all that other kind of junk. I think we're gonna take the fenders off just because it's so easy. Then we're gonna have to basically just take the bell housing bolts out. I think the motor mount bolts are already even free. Clip a couple things,
Yeah.
disconnect some wires, and
Yeah, minor stuff.
ready?
No! That's the oil filter.
And that's off the motor
Off.
mounts.
Yep.
There we go.
Ta-da!
Wow, look at that, go devil. There we go. And parts falling out, 2 springs gone. Look at that. Broken springs, gacked bolts from the springs bouncing around in here, and pilot bushing dangling freely in the end of the crankshaft. It'll be fine.
It's fine. I would say that today is very successful. We actually got the engine out, got it on the stand, found out some problems, got some parts coming. It was a good day.
Every Jeep day is a good day.
Every Jeep day is a good day.
Well, it's morning and it's raining outside, so we've moved inside and cleared out my garage more than it has been in like a decade. And our job today is to tear apart the engine and fix it and put it back together. What happened is 15 years ago when we were road tripping this thing home from Utah, we only made it like 3 or 5 miles or something like that.
It's about right outside of town.
And it started doing that knocking, like real bad.
But we did limp it back.
I really wanted to blow the whole engine apart and fix it, but all we're gonna do is flip it over and pull the crank out, look at the bearings. Well, I have a new crank that maybe we could put in it if we have to, and slap it back together and roadkill it back into the Jeep.
It'll need the new crank.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
number
already
one
know that?
bearing, I replaced it with a piece of belt leather.
Right.
Yeah,
It's garbage.
It's garbage, yeah. I mean, that made it run, that made it get here, but
Oil drain pan.
it's not going anywhere. Doing good.
You're good.
Yep.
What's falling out?
Antifreeze!
Perfect.
Whoa! That's nasty.
Yuck. Look at all that scone.
That's not bad. Look, it's fresh antifreeze. Fresh sconge.
Oh, that's pretty bad. This is cool. I've never seen this before. Full floating oil pickup for when off-roading. Mm-hmm. Floats with the oil. And
Or water.
Or water. Look at this.
Yeah?
That's belt leather.
Yeah, it could be. Ooh, it is.
Yeah.
Well, that is. Okay. That's
your
why it's
belt
going to be
leather.
really cool to find out.
Is that the one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, let's pull it. I can't wait to see this. All right, this is
Right
the
there.
one?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, take it apart. Oh!
Is this the noise we heard?
That could be. Wow.
I think the belt leather is gone,
It's gone.
which is why it's in here.
Yeah.
Which is why it's probably in all the other oil galleries, too.
What happened is when we got home from Utah 15 years ago, this thing went to Rick's house, and he tried one of the oldest tricks in the book that you hear about all the time that people are like, oh yeah, I drove it 100,000 miles that way, which is take out the rod bearing completely and take a leather belt and cut it to width and shave it to thickness and use it as a rod bearing. And even making the 60 or less horsepower, just go ahead and put that anywhere.
Yeah, that one's down there now, okay?
Even at no horsepower, apparently the leather belt trick does not work.
Yeah, it does work.
It does?
I ran around on the hill for a while. I'm going to say that there's no belt leather left in there.
No, it's all in the pickup. And probably in the oil pump. And yes, I know I'm pushing the studs out of the rod.
We don't care. Ooh,
Wow.
not bad. It's seen some hard use.
There is no ring tension. It's good for horsepower.
Lube them up, they'll come back to life. It's like belt leather.
Okay,
All right, new bearing will be fine in there. That's not a problem.
so this is a new used crankshaft that's been sitting around forever that I've never opened before. There's no bearings with it.
This crank was sent to me 10 or 15 years ago for some friends of mine with a 4-wheel drive shop back in New Hampshire.
It's usable.
It's better than what's in here. That's the key.
If it's got a crank that's turned under, odds are it's been overboard, and I've only got standard rings.
So we use the rings that we have.
Yeah, we can dingle ball it and reuse the rings.
Yeah.
Okay, well that makes the decision. This thing's coming apart.
Yep. All right. Whoa.
Valves look good.
They look great. I don't say anything wrong with that.
You're gacking this piston with that stud.
Nah, you worry too much. Okay, so we're taking apart the engine and we're popped out number
2.
2-cylinder. This piston here has all these nice rings. You notice it's missing the top, the most important one, because it's in pieces.
Not good,
Not good
because
at
we
all.
found out this thing is 40 thousandths overboard.
Yeah.
And I only have standard rings because I assumed this thing had never been touched. So that means we need to overnight piston rings.
Piston
and
rings.
Today's our last opportunity to get stuff overnighted because today's Thursday.
Oh, yeah. We'll be screwed.
Did you know they carry everything from Omic Zeta?
Really?
All those Jeep parts.
So we can get all the rings, the
Everything.
bearings, motor mounts,
Yep.
hoses.
Yep.
Okay.
That wasn't very tight.
Whoa.
Leather.
Yeah.
That's all leather.
Wow.
Your field fix ruined this motor.
Ah, saved it. All right.
That is goopy. Just think, that was a cow at one point.
Wow. Tasted good.
Look at all the crud even on the cam. We need to pull the cam out, dude.
Well, if we need to do that, then we need to do the valve cover and the intake exhaust. Might as well come off too and hope we don't break anything.
Every time we touch a new part, we're finding new disasters that mean we have to take more and more and more apart. Basically, at this point, the whole thing is coming apart because we got to clean it all out. It's beyond roadkill. Okay, we've got this thing torn down as far as it's gonna be because the distributor is seized in the block. Everything else is as apart as it's gonna be. Before we start cleaning, I'm gonna hone the cylinders because that's gonna make a bit of a mess. First, just take any kind of random oil, spread it around in here, really good. And you might have heard me on Roadkill refer to the dingle ball hone, which is the thing that you can do for cheapy engine rebuilds at home. And bam, there it is. Check that thing out. I love the dingle ball hone. This is not pro, but it works. Okay, ready to give it a couple sweeps? And that's about all you do. Let's go wipe the oil off of that and have a look. Well, I think all that we're going to be able to finish up today is lots and lots and lots of oil gallery cleaning. We're pulling chunks of that leather belt out of everywhere on this thing. And our rings are going to be here tomorrow from Willys Works. So unfortunately, even though I wanted to get this thing back in the Jeep today, that's not happening. That'll be tomorrow. And then the day after that, we'll get it in the Jeep, get it running, and then find some catastrophic problem we didn't expect that prevents us from leaving, and then we'll be behind schedule because roadkill. Finnegan, you look terrible. What happened?
It's the sunlight
Rough
in the
night.
morning. It's a rough night, yeah.
Still here.
Wow.
How come Gremlins didn't build it overnight?
Okay, so we spent what, 2 days already?
Yeah, we're behind.
Yeah.
I think #1 priority, crocus cloth the crank.
Yeah.
And clean up pistons and
Yeah.
assemble. So we're kind of under a time schedule here because a week from today is the Roadkill zip tie drags that I have to be at, and between now and then we have to get this entire engine assembled in the Jeep, running, fix whatever else is wrong with the Jeep, haul the Jeep to Provo, Utah, and then road trip it home while having a great time.
So why are you worried about it?
Yeah.
It'll happen.
This is the used crankshaft we got that was sitting in a box in my garage forever. And here's gonna be the technique. This crocus cloth or emery cloth is literal sandpaper on fabric so that you can do stuff like this to polish crank journals the wrong way, the right way. And so once I get this thing cleaned up of all the grease and everything, I will probably get some lubricant in there with that crocus cloth and then be polishing away for hours to try and make it good enough to put in that Go Devil.
All right, so this is the main oil pickup in the pan. It's coming apart. Oh.
Oh! Junk!
That is not supposed to be in there. The screen is not visible. Wow.
Note to self, the leather bearing trick, not a good idea.
Yeah, there's the leather bearing. I'm gonna have to uncrimp it, pull the screen out, take a piece of screen out of David's front door, and make a new one. This is bad. Ooh, here we go. Screen coming off. Beautiful on the inside. Whoa.
Really bad?
Oh, you gotta see this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is gnarly.
So you happy we took the engine apart now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this wire was totally plugged. Now look at it. You can see through it.
We're not gonna get the main bearings that I ordered. Apparently there is like a freeze on all shipping in the country because there's massive winter storms back east. So we're not getting the main bearings. Fortunately, the new crank is 20 under and so is the old crank, so you got it. I'm reusing my main bearings. Not optimal, but it'll work.
All right, so we're finally getting to reassemble the engine. Took us a day to take it apart, clean it up. We're putting in a camshaft into the 134 4-cylinder. Got to make sure that you don't hit the bearing journals, but this is it. This is the start. We'll be done in an hour.
The rest of the night, we are just assembling the engine, taking the caps on and off a whole bunch of times, measuring all these clearances, which, by the way, are a disaster, and then slamming pistons in with one of those ring compressors that might as well be made of razor blades. And then crossing your fingers, doing the simple grunt work, and hoping that you've got enough RTV to prevent this from leaking oil everywhere. So now that we've got the long block wrapped up, all we have to do is get the cylinder head on here and slap the intake manifold and exhaust manifold on. And pretty much it's ready to go in the Jeep tomorrow, a day late.
A day late.
Because it's raining outside, I think I better weld in here. I don't want to stand in a puddle and weld. I would be cleaning all the oil off of this, except for I only have chlorinated brake clean. Oh, I don't. Look. You don't want to use the chlorinated stuff because what does it make? Chlorine gas?
Chlorine gas, you're gonna die.
Yeah, it makes something that kills you if you weld over the chlorinated brake clean. That's a true story. Okay. Whoop.
That's cool.
That would be the flammable brake clean on a plastic table. I look at it as like sort of cleaning the manifold.
I think it's fine.
Last night was pretty good. We were here till midnight, got the whole engine assembled. We're both really happy with it, but then the nightmare struck, which was a broken stud in this exhaust manifold, so I couldn't hook up the exhaust pipe. So this morning we've been fighting that for about an hour and a half. We were having to weld it, heat it, spray nitrous at it, trying to thermally shock it so that I could get that stud out. But the stud just kept breaking off with the nut. Every time I welded the nut on, boom, it would break right off, just taking like another 1/16 off the bolt. Finally, just now, I got it broken off flush, drilled it out, tapped it, and we're ready for action. Distributor doesn't want to turn. We're gonna give it a shot. They often rust into the blocks on these because there's about that much that's a very tight interference fit that slides into the block. Oh, wow.
Yeah. The fact that it moves at all is epic.
This is going bad at this point. The schedule's falling apart. We still have a little bit of work to do on the engine, then we gotta slap it in. But then the problem is, I just discovered this wheel bearing is garb. Look at that. See the action on this thing? Junk. We have to leave tomorrow.
Well, we set the timing, we advanced it with a pipe wrench.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I think that's it.
I don't get it.
It wants to run.
We got the engine in the Jeep, everything's hooked up to it, and it's not running right. In fact, it's not running at all. And so we started to troubleshoot it, and man, there was some problems with the starter and some wiring and the points and stuff like that. But even after we had it all dialed, it was backfiring. And finally, Rick figured it out. I foobarred the firing order. Number 2 and 4 were swapped. Ready?
Yep. Give her some air. Air, 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 more air. More air, more air. Yeah, baby.
Yes!
Yes!
I feel all pressure.
Yes! 40 pounds.
Win! Bam! Okay. The rest of the night is just gonna be bolting stuff together, and Rick's gotta repair a broken clutch cable while I'm gonna stare at this ruined wheel bearing because I just don't feel like working on it. We still have a lot to do before we can hit the road tomorrow. Yep, this is exactly where you left me last night, because Corona. We gave up, but there was a good reason. Check this out. Our 15-year-old memory said that we had rebuilt all the brakes on this thing when we went and rescued it the first time. Clearly, either that's not true or we are chumps, because I just pulled that out of the master cylinder. And that is our giant problem right now, is that the brakes are not happening. It's Sunday. You're not gonna get 46 Jeep brake parts. And so Rick is off at his house going through his personal stash, trying to find some wheel cylinders and a master cylinder for this thing. That is putting us one full day behind. That is Titanic level stuff right there. Oh, super bad. I haven't seen that in a long time. The bearing completely came apart. Look at that. Oh. Wheel bearing came apart in many pieces. What are the odds that you have one?
I'll have something. Give me the number off it. Should be an 18520, 18590 race. Check the race. Got, I'm trying to think.
It is an 18590.
Oh, what?
18590, like you said.
Yeah. Is it?
Yes. The braking situation is bleak. Not only is the master cylinder completely clogged, but we cannot find another one anywhere. And so I'm gonna have to hone this one out forever using used parts and crossing my fingers that it doesn't leak. That took about 4 hours, and then I found out that the rubber hoses were totally clogged. We went shopping in my backyard in the dark trying to find new hoses off my other 2 Jeeps, and naturally, those were clogged too. You couldn't even blow through them. This whole day has been wasted. So the things we have left to do are brake hoses, bleed the brakes, pack the wheel bearings, assemble the brakes, fix the fuel system, figure out what electrical stuff is foobar, put the front clip back on it, wheels and tires, seat pads, overdrive, grease at minimum the wheel bearings and the drive shafts, wash the window, and duct tape holes.
That's it. It's not a big list. We just don't have any time.
This brake system deal is just shafting me. At this point, we've got to bail out on those brake hoses, finish everything else on the Jeep that we can so that tomorrow morning we can figure out how to get hoses somewhere. Might have to have them custom made, and then hopefully finally hit the road.
So one of the final things we're installing tonight is a Saturn overdrive. What this unit does is give you a 25% better gear ratio because it's a planetary inside. Splits the gears if you want, so you have 12 forward gears. It really helps the engine and makes it go a lot faster on the highway if your engine can pull it. And it's easy to install. That goes in the transfer case. This goes on the outside of the transfer case. You don't have to cut drive shafts or anything. So it'll be a time saver tonight, and it'll be a time saver on the trip.
We're working on the Jeep again when we should have left town day before yesterday. And I think the problem now is that all hopes of making it back to Utah are dashed. We're gonna come up with a new goal because never say die. We're gonna go off-roading in this thing either way and we're gonna have fun.
This is so nice. It's a workbench. This is what's cool about flat fenders. Holds your beer, holds your tools, holds your parts, holds your nuts. What could be better than that?
Finally, the show-stopping brake hoses are handled. We were able to buy these things at Napa. We're actually nearing the end. Kind of hard to believe. Rick's got that overdrive handled now, so I've got to get the shifter in, and unfortunately that requires a little trim of the ancient sheet metal, which is something I normally hate, but in this case it's totally worth it. This has gas in it. Sparks and gas don't mix. You're no one till you've got like the tractor implement looking shift program going on. So this is the transmission stick, then this is overdrive, and this is four-wheel drive in and out, and this is high-low. This sets a record for a vehicle rescue on Roadkill, 6 days straight. I think the only time we did that before was on the Junkyard Cuda out in Texas. But finally, I'm pretty confident we're gonna be leaving tomorrow morning, which gives us 3 days of four-wheeling fun and adventure. But we're gonna be working late again tonight on super boring stuff like tightening up the shifter, bleeding the brakes, and making the headlights work. Didn't I say that like 2 days ago? I think so. Okay, come push the Jeep over to the left. The jack just flopped over.
I don't think. Go that way?
Yep. Thank you. The wheels I got are US mags. They're a U101. They're dish mag, very retro. In fact, that's the same thing I have on my Roadrunner. These would be really good on like an early Bronco or a 70s CJ5 or CJ7. They're a little bit too new for this Jeep and too shiny for this Jeep, but I thought I'd take a risk. I think they're pretty cool. The tire is a Cooper Discoverer STT Pro, which is their aggressive mud tire, 3-ply sidewall. It's a 31 by 10, 50, 15. These wheels are 15 by 8 with 4-inch back spacing, and they'd probably fit the Jeep better if they had about 3.5-inch back spacing. Torque to spec. Dude, this is gonna get real. We're about to leave.
Finally.
We're not gonna be able to do the Utah trip that we had originally planned just because we're out of time. Again, I've got to be at the Roadkill Zip Tie Drags in Tucson in 2 days. Today's Tuesday.
3 days.
Wednesday, Thursday, I gotta be there Friday. But we're gonna do the next best thing. We figured we were gonna go to Salt Lake City or Provo and freeze to death in the snow. So right now we're gonna go seek some snow. That's our plan.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
Jump in. Move the fan.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep. Wow, this thing's like a sewing machine.
That is perfect.
This is the quietest Go Devil we've ever had.
Wow. That's pretty nice.
This is greatness.
Wow.
This thing purrs.
This is perfect.
Seems like new.
Drives like new. I got this cap over my ear so I can't tell if it's knocking or not.
That's perfect.
Oh, wait.
Overdrive. Whoa.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, that's so nice.
Finally, my happy place in the passenger seat of a flat fender Jeep with Rick Payway. This is like old times, and this Jeep is running perfectly. It rides fantastic. And that's when I heard the engine starting to fall apart again. It's making a noise like it's got a connecting rod knocking again. I hope it's just a vibration of something, but it sounds really bad. Oh, that's horrible.
I heard that one.
Yep. How could that happen again? That's definitely what it is. There's just no question. So now it comes down to what do we do? I don't know. We can go find some dirt and have some fun. We can go back home. Either way, the engine's gonna destroy itself again.
What kind of mileage did we get? What fuel economy?
I thought that was a pretzel, and I put it in my mouth. Did you see that?
We would have been seeing the dentist. These are the wing nuts for the air cleaner. These were in his mouth, and now I'm touching them.
See, fire extinguisher, gas, kind of a thing. So that when this explodes and is burning, you can get right near the fire to get at the extinguisher. Yesterday was the depths of depression. This morning, it's victory once again. When I fired this thing up, it didn't make a sound, and I realized the problem. We used 1030 oil, and when it got hot, it was too thin for the massive clearances in this engine. And so what we're gonna do is pour some 60 weight in it with some oil additive goop, because this is the goop episode of Roadkill, and we're gonna hope that that's all thick enough to take up the clearance and quiet down the disaster. This is the moment of truth. I still heard it a little right there. I'm calling that fixed.
35 pounds.
Really? Check it while I'm holding RPM. What was it?
38 pounds.
Fixed. Mint.
Mint is the word.
It does do a little at light throttle right there.
I'll stay off of light
Hear it?
throttle.
Hear it?
Yeah. We won't do that either.
Man, yesterday was depths of depression. I couldn't believe not only we weren't gonna go four-wheeling, but that we put all that work into something that was rod knocking. Now, it's only rod knocking a little bit, which is good enough for roadkill and good enough for an old Jeep. It's gonna be fine. So we're gonna hit the road and go four-wheeling somewhere. Flat fendering, the only way to go.
Life is good. This is living.
We're perfect.
Don't hear it now. We got good oil pressure, 30 pounds.
Yep.
Grab it.
Trash bag. Flatty just grunts. Look at that. Tractor.
Pull on in the ditch.
Whoa, nice. You intentionally took the ditch and it still worked. Oh, Jeep is good.
Ready?
Yep.
That was epic. This is living the dream. This is flat fender Jeep dreaming. No two ways about it. We could do this all day long, all our lives. Where are we going next?
We're 15 years old. The Jeep is running great though. I can't believe that it survived that. It's good. Here's the deal though. Remember this whole show I've been talking about how I have to be at the Roadkill zip tie drags on Friday, and today's Wednesday. The problem is I'm driving the muscle truck to the event in Arizona, and the muscle truck is up at Steve Dulcich's place north of Bakersfield. And so we have to go pick that up so I can drive it home tomorrow. So it's getting dark. We're gonna put in some miles on the highway and then wake up tomorrow morning and hopefully find some adventurous way to get up to Dulcich's place. You shouldn't have touched the gas.
You're right.
It's freezing outside and our 60 weight oil is it's like tar. Here, check this out. We should probably warm it up before we drive it.
I was going to do that right now.
to
You want to listen?
Yeah.
Let's see if we hear anything.
This being the goop episode, I was able to stick my finger under the tank of the radiator and come up with that. Let's just hope that's left over from the last engine.
Yeah. That's it. It'll clear out. It'll clear out.
There we go. I'm the king of the world!
Have it dialed!
Almost there! We made it to our final destination, and I realized we basically put a pile of destinations in a fishbowl, shook them up, and pulled them out every single day on this trip as the mechanical program got worse and worse and worse as we went. But finally, we're here at Steve Dulcich's place. If you don't know, he's the guy who I do the Roadkill Garage show with on MotorTrend On Demand. He's got a cool farm here where he's gonna hang on to the Jeep, and I'm picking up the muscle truck that he's been working on for a while because I gotta get to that event. So we may not have had the adventure we set out to do going to Utah, but we had a huge mechanical adventure nonetheless, and the result is another flat fender living and breathing and running and driving after 15 years off the road. There's only one more thing we gotta do, and that's hit the road in proper style with the muscle truck. Support companies that support Roadkill. Buy your speed parts at jegs.com.
Whew, and it's not done. I figured you'd stay up all night.
You just walked right in front of the slider shot.
I did.
Ready to go again?
Come on, baby, one more time. Wait, that's a Britney Spears song, right?
I wouldn't
Come on,
know.
baby, one more time.
Why don't you list the progress you've made today?
12 hours. I removed a master cylinder, rebuilt it, and put it back in, and it leaked.